Eccoci qua. Welcome, Rosby. Good to
Hi.
see you, even if so. Ecco noi Rosby Hosseini, un ex studente, ormai sono passati parecchi anni, a University of Minnesota e ora professore a University of Georgia, in Athens, Georgia. Rusby è originariamente persiano, dell'Iran, and it's going to be in English, so now I switch to English, as I cannot speak Persian. And he cannot speak Italian.
Well, pochissimo.
Pochissimo. I don't think it would be enough for the overall
No,
conversation.
I can order coffee for myself.
Well, that's
in
okay.
Rome.
There you go. And in Rome, yeah, another one that goes always to the AF. Rusby, so you were telling me your family is fine because it managed to go
For
up
now.
north, but
For now, they're safe. They're safe.
how do you see the situation? How would you describe the situation from your point of view?
Well, it's not good. It's as you know, very abruptly, very unexpectedly on Wednesday night in the U.S. time and Thursday morning on Iranian time, this attack started. Many people did not predict it. I did not expect it, and since then, until yesterday that I checked, according to Iran's Ministry of Health, I think there were 224 casualty, with the estimate of about 90% of them being civilian, and many injured, and a lot of this infrastructure being hit. Some gas field gas refinery was hit. There were a couple of oil reserve depot in Tehran have been hit with a lot of toxic fumes in the air. I think they managed to control them. And then here and there, I hear most of these news I follow from a social media platform called Clubhouse, which is very similar to Twitter Space, where people come in and speak. And from what I gather is that there is widespread attack anywhere in Iran. And as for Tehran, I know that a lot of people, those who could, left the city. Those who had a place to go. But Tehran is a city that depending on how you define the boundaries of the city, something between 10 to 15 million people live there. So I'm sure the majority of these people are still there. A lot of them don't have any other place to go. But there is from what I gather, from what I hear, I don't have any hard data. From what I hear is that there is significant slowdown of activities and movement, as you could expect, because they are attacking Tehran.
So, but I'm just trying to ask a meaningful question, avoiding the. You said you were not suspecting the attack. Is that really true? That was true. Also? I mean, it seemed to me that it was quite obvious that they were going there.
Well, they were in the middle of negotiation, so that I thought that meant that we are still negotiating. They were due to talk on Sunday. I'm not saying. Well, look, maybe some Iranians expected it. Apparently, the very important and influential ones didn't, because they were attacked. And then yeah, I thought that, well, as long as negotiation are officially going, there wouldn't be an attack. That's my opinion, but I'm not an expert in nuclear negotiations, so I don't know.
So, from your point of view, does this thing make any? I mean, I know you obviously, like all of the Iranians, I know, don't like the regime and so on. What do you think is going to be the consequence? There's a lot of people in the Western world celebrating this thing. It's a fact, and ignoring completely the human cost, and ignoring the fact that it's, even if it toppled the regime, it's unclear what will follow. The speak today is by Merz is scary. I mean, absolutely obscene. I don't know if
Yes.
you out of his mind or what? Iran, that Israel is doing the dirty work. So this seems to be Iraq 2003 on steroids.
Yes.
And yeah, well, I'm trying to make some sense of it. I mean, from the point of view of an Iranian that has been living in the United States for at least 25 years or something, right? You came in, what was 2000?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So exactly 25 years. How do you comprehend this? How do you, and a democratic Iranian, a very secularized Iranian, how do you comprehend this? How do you read this attitude?
I'm again. I'm very surprised at how Europeans are reacting to this, because I mean, they, they, the terminology that they're using is very hurtful. Again, this is from, exactly as you said, from a point of view of secular Iranian, apolitical secular Iranian who's not supporting anything. I'm not supportive of anything or anyone, and this is extremely vile to say that somebody is doing our dirty work. I don't know what the work is, but this description is just insane to me from Europeans. Um, um,
Yeah, at
I
least
don't
Macron said that he considered a strategic error to attack a country to change the regime, which is coherent with the
change
position
the change the
of.
regime. Change the regime to what?
No, I'm
To
asking
what?
you. I mean,
To what? To what? I don't know. I mean, everyone whoever tells me something about change the regime, my question: change it to what? What is the alternative? Who's there? I mean, so I
yeah,
tell
who's
you
there
this.
from your point of view? Who's there?
What
From your
what?
point of view, who's there? What's realistically there?
I don't see any realistic alternative. I mean, I'll tell you that. Think whatever you want about the regime. I want to stay away for now, or for maybe for the purpose of this talk about this whole dispute between Iran and Israel. Let's for the moment let's put that aside. Think whatever you want about the Iranian regime. Um, it is a a, a system that is running a country. So, there is an infrastructure. There is um, there is gas at the gas station. Yes, there is issue with that. There is power goes to people's house. Yes, there is issue with that. There is shortages. There are blackouts. This is a country that is under sanction and is coping with that. There is a lot of issues, but there is a government. No matter what you think about it, that there is a bureaucracy that is running. Now you are disrupting this, and you have no alternative in place. Imagine you had a magic stick, magic wand, and you turn it, and they're gone. Okay, tell me tomorrow who's going to fire up the refinery, especially now. You're bombing in and destroying that, destroying industry infrastructure, destroying transportation infrastructure, destroying defense infrastructure. What happens if what happens if Taliban decides to enter Iran from the east? Whoever you think is going to take over should have the defensive capabilities to push them back. So these are my biggest fears right now. Okay, so again, when you ask what is the alternative, I don't know the alternative. People talk about the name that these days is in the media. People talk about it is the prince or of son of former Shah.
Mhm.
This is like 60-something-year-old man who has never had a job. By his own admission, he makes a living from receiving money from his mother because of the wealth that they managed to take out of Iran. He never had a formal education. He has a degree in political science by proxy from University of Southern California. I think by proxy means that he did not attend it. So I don't know. He has never had any experience of doing even one day of at any job. and he is the face. He is the face and the name that you hear. I mean, if this is, I don't know, if I don't know. Um, on the other hand, you have different the threat and the danger of various small groups here and there that might take advantage of a weekend regime to come and take a piece of it. There are court separatists in the northeast. There are uh, some some groups in Baluchistan, which is in the southeast of Iran. There is always threat from Afghanistan by Taliban and Daesh and whatever and those type of groups. And there is always in recent years there has been conflict and tension between Iran and Azerbaijan. So in the northwest as well. So I don't know. So I mean, I'm hoping that we are not. I'm hoping that this is not a realistic situation. But hypothetically, if the central government goes away, this is my view. I mean, I might be wrong. Then you may have another guest that comes in and explain the situation differently. But from what I understand is that my worry is, or my question is that, what about those? What happens there? Um, so sorry, that's a non-answer, but that's all I have.
Let me try to understand another thing then. How likely is it that this ends up being in general bombing, killing of a lot of people related to the regime and a lot of civilians, distractions? I'm not sure, similar to Gaza, but certainly not in that order of magnitude. Well, that's what one hopes, but then you never know, given the apparent intention of Trump of finally achieving a victory by jumping in and being completely under the control of Netanyahu.
Well, you have to ask them.
No. But and then is the country a country that can hold together in that circumstances, or as you're suggesting, may split up?
If the US actively enters, I don't know what's going to happen, but I can see again. This is might be naive, but I can see this continues. If it is only between Iran and Israel, these are countries that far apart. I mean, you shoot me, you shoot at me, I shoot at you. This can go on for a long time. And remember,
Yeah, sure,
Iran has been in a long war.
Israel
Iran has
seems
been in a
to-
long war before. We were in an 8-year war with Iraq, which just went
Yeah,
on
but
and
that was
on and on
different,
and on.
right? That was different. That was different. One thing that characterized this thing, and if you want, makes it more vile, but it certainly makes it easier uh, for Western powers to feel superior and say the things they say, is you just bomb. You have such a air superiority that you keep bombing uh, until something gives. You don't have to put boots on the ground in this case.
Well, yeah, you can always do a Lydia. I don't know how quick. I don't have a lot of details or intel about Iran's uh, uh, military power. I have some knowledge, but I have a lot of detail, and I'd rather not get into that. Okay, but whether we get, yes, there is always a possibility of doing a Libya. When are we going to get there? I don't know. Or if we're
Yeah,
going to
according
get
to
there,
it
I don't
seems
know.
to be the only thing.
If the US actively enters and starts and then it's a different situation. That's big, but that's the biggest military power in the world. So if US gets involved, I suppose they can end it and they want to be brutal. I suppose they can end it faster. I hope that doesn't happen, but I don't know.
I see. It's hard to ask question. I mean, it's very hard to ask question, and because I
So
find,
I
tell me
don't
what.
see I don't see any based on my conversation with people I know and based on what I hear again on social media, it doesn't seem that people are changing their opinions. You know, people are still staying in their own lane. What you don't hear these days is you don't hear too much criticism of the government or of the regime, which, like I said, I follow this discussion on like a tweet like a X space and Clubhouse, and I hear on daily basis I hear people come in and criticize this and that. That has stopped. Uh, you know, if there is a criticism, it's a criticism on the strategy, on what they're doing, whether they're not doing this, whether they're not doing that. That has a stop. So there is a sense of people are mobilizing behind the cause. I mean, I even hear people um, applauding heightened security, heightened intelligence operation and security operation. You know, street. What do you call it? What do you call it when they close the street and search the cars? Because there are a lot of these attacks. Everybody knows this. There are a lot of these attacks are happening from inside Iran. So there is a massive infiltration is going on, and they're after them to hunt them. So and the same people that were very angry at security forces maybe a few months ago or maybe 2 years ago because of the stuff that they did. Now they're applauding those operations. So one of the things that I'm thinking is that if we get out of this conflict and and this regime is still in place, it's going to be it's going to be very 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 brutal on this. So we have experienced this in the 80s, and I think they're going to go back to that, and it's going to be even worse because of the breach in intelligence that is happening right now. Like a lot of these attacks, by admission of Israelis, by admission of many, maybe I think even Iranian officials, a lot of these attacks are happening from inside Iran, and I think there's going to be a massive crackdown. And right now people do not object that because they feel that this is a good one. This is helping saving their lives.
I'm not sure I understood your last part. You're mixing the part about attacks from inside Iran to saving lives.
If you 1 year ago, if you would, if somebody would tell me there is an increasing crackdown, I would say that okay, this is going to make a lot of people angry. Today, I
Now
don't.
you
I
say
don't
there is
think.
an increasing crackdown and people are not getting angry.
No, because they think that they're going after the infiltrator. They're going after the network that is attacking them from Iran.
And
The
so
car bombs,
the news
the
that comes
rockets.
from Iran is that there is a large amount of either Israeli infiltration or that the opposition is
Yes,
siding.
yes, Michele. A lot of the attacks that is happening. A lot of things that are fired at places are fired from inside Iran. These are not they're by drones or by I don't know, the, the the precision rockets or something, but they're launched and they're car bombs. These are from inside Iran. Yes, and they have already reported
I
that
have to bring
they have
you there.
captured
I
some
have
of
to
them.
bring you there, even if it is complicated. So the regime has been awful, and clearly the violence they committed, it's about a year ago or then in the past, must have left a large amount of the population hating them beyond belief. It's very hard to believe otherwise, or not. Or am I getting something wrong here?
There is tension. Yes, yes, yeah.
So maybe there are people that are acting They're actively acting to replace the regime.
I'm sure, but I'm sure. Yes. Well, if if there is somebody from inside Iran that is conducting these operations, they must they're acting against the regime. Yes. When were they hired by Mossad or IDF? I don't know. Was it after the last 2 years or before the last 2 years? I don't know. But there are people that is doing this. And I don't know what is their number, but yes. But I see a lot of social media posts from former political prisoners, people who have lost families in various conflicts, various like political conflicts inside Iran. They're posting that they're not supporting this, and they are very sad and uh, and and they wanted to stop. So they're not supporting this.
Why do
I
you
will be
think going back
shocked.
to merge
I will be
to merge?
shocked. I will be shocked, and I'm sure this is not the case. That majority of Iranian population, or a good portion of Iranian, at least a more good portion of Iranian population, that is supporting this operation. There are some. I see them on social media, and I don't know what to think of them. But there are some. But there are a minority. I think most of them live outside Iran.
So you're saying the majority of the population, because you come, at least to me, maybe our listener have a better luck than me, but sometimes your voice breaks. So I'm not sure if there is something in the middle that I don't understand. So you'd say that the majority of the population, though, in your opinion, is out of patriotism and so on, supporting the regime.
No, I did not say that. I said that they do not support the attack, the Israel attack, for
Well,
whatever
the
purpose.
problem is that in this case, you have to, unfortunately, when somebody attacks, there is very little choice. Either you stay with the attacker or you stay with the attacked. I know it's a
I
brutal
think
way.
I wouldn't be. I think that it's the stay with the attacked. That's what I think.
All right. So yeah, I'm not gonna.
And if this thing goes on, I think this is going to even more this support for this rallying behind the attack, I think is going to be even more solidified. Because the more this thing's going on, the more there's going to be civilian casualties, the more people are going to lose the place that they're working at. And then and the immediate person that they blame is the person that is dropping bomb at them.
Yeah, no, obviously, yeah, obviously, people are bombing. I'm bombing you at the end of the day.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's what I wanted to hear. That I mean, that's what I guess that's what you're able to report, given the where you are and the informations you have. The political evaluation, we leave it aside for now.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
I want that's pretty obvious.
I want to stress this again. I mentioned this a couple of times. This is based on my sort of the observation, field observation on the ground, not on the ground, from through social media, from hearing people who are actually there and talking. And I know, and I heard them 3 months ago, and I heard their attitude and what they talk about, and I hear today their attitude and what they talk about. The top of mind right now is that the country is under attack. The people, my countrymen are dying. My infrastructure is being bombed. I don't care about anything else. This has to stop. The first goal is repel this the aggressor, and then we figure out the rest. That's the attitude that I see right now. How widespread it is, I have no idea. There is no way to gauge opinion. I mean, gauging opinion is very, very difficult. Gauging public opinion in Iran is very, very difficult these days. It's impossible.
So, last question: do you think this, given that you're also in the US and I'm now there, that this is the crazy guy at the White House just taking a tour of victory, given that he has been humiliated by his military parade, or he means it for sure? Because if I understand, there is a Security Council meeting going on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Michael, I don't know. I have stopped speculating what Trump does or does not. I mean, I was shocked this morning to see his post and that saying we did this, we're not going to do this, as if he's the spokesperson for IDF. So I don't know. He's starting last night. He's speaking as if he's in charge of this operation. He says we.
Yeah, he's been saying we. Yeah.
So I
Well,
don't know.
I did conjecture from the start that this was all planned.
2 days ago, he was saying he was talking about
Just
negotiation and coming back to table. That was 48 hours ago. Now he's saying that complete surrender, unconditional surrender. We do this, we do that. So I don't know.
All right, Rusbe, I hope you and I can have a chance to talk under better circumstances.
Yes, thank you so much.
My best wishes to your family and whoever is
Thank you.
in Iran. All right, take care.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao. Allora, permettetemi che provo a finire. Niente, non c'ho molto da aggiungere. Sì, sono anch'io. Mi pare che siamo alla solita storia. C'è un regime infernale che è molto odiato in Occidente, per ottime ragioni, nel senso che merita di essere odiato. Aspettate, vediamo di far apparire la signora, perché all'improvviso si è allargato lo schermo. Sì, lo schermo. E qui, come al solito, ormai domina, mi sto ripetendo, mi sembra che domini una forma virulenta di odio religioso, che non riesce a capire che sì, i regimi sono orrendi, alcuni, ma che come lo era quello di Hussein, come lo è questo, come lo è quello di Putin, come lo è quello dell'Arabia Saudita, for that matter, e molti altri. Nyrox ha preso 28 in econometria, pensando a me, mi rallegra, ma che la situazione non cambia di certo così, come la storia ci ha insegnato, che poi ce ne sono di peggiori, tipo l'afgano, e come Rusby ci ha suggerito, c'è addirittura il rischio di penetrazioni afghane, ovviamente, nell'est, nel nord-est del paese. Ma guardate, il punto è la profonda decadenza di tutte le chiacchiere occidentali sul diritto. Ieri uno dei leader di quella accozzaglia di personaggi sgradevoli, a dir poco, che io ho definito bava alla bocca, che festeggiano ogni volta che qualcuno viene ammazzato, se non è della loro religione e se non è della loro etnia, ha spiegato che il diritto internazionale funziona così. Le democrazie, o i paesi che pensano che si definiscono democrazie, tra di loro possono usarlo. Quando invece non sono democrazie, o qualche paese decide che non sono democrazie, allora l'unica regola da utilizzare è l'annientamento. Voi capite che l'equilibrio di questa cosa qua significa che costoro, in nome della difesa del regime folle israeliano e delle sue azioni di guerra per rifare il Medio Oriente distruggendolo, stanno dando carta bianca a Putin. Stanno dando carta bianca a Putin in Ucraina, per la semplice ragione che, come ci hanno spiegato, il regime ucraino è nazista, condotto da una drug addicted, non c'è alcuna democrazia, anzi c'è l'oppressione delle minoranze, e quindi, piaccia o meno a costoro, nella loro infinita ipocrisia, i governi europei e i loro sostenitori, come questi, stanno dando carta bianca a Putin. E temo che, se questa cosa in Iran continuerà, noi ne vedremo dei riflessi non solo sul popolo iraniano, che pagherà probabilmente con grandi vittime, grandi disastri, simili a quelli avvenuti in Iraq, ma lo vedremo anche sul popolo ucraino. si sta manifestando concretamente non solo l'inattualità di una serie di principi, ma anche la profonda falsità di questi principi. Stiamo scoprendo che la maggioranza delle popolazioni europee e la maggioranza dei leader europei, tutte le chiacchiere sulla democrazia, il rispetto ai diritti umani, il diritto internazionale, la non interferenza negli affari interni, il non regime change, erano tutte balle. Erano balle negli anni 40, erano balle negli anni 50, erano balle negli anni 60 e sono balle adesso. E quindi dobbiamo accettare che viviamo in un mondo in cui, se per caso tu eleggi al governo qualcuno che ha deciso di far la guerra e che ha deciso che il paese X, magari come in questo caso, ha un regime obiettivamente orrendo e assassino, può essere bombardato, lo bombarda e prova sulla pelle dei milioni che vivono innocenti di fatto in quel paese, prova a cambiare regime per metterci uno che gli piace. Se non ci riesce, dice: vabbè, dai, però valeva la pena, ci abbiamo provato. Sì, va bene, abbiamo ammazzato un paio di milioni, ma cosa ce ne possiamo fare? Penso che Putin mollerà. Sì, penso che Putin e Trump, molto onestamente, quello che penso è che Putin e Trump stiano di fatto convergendo con i fatti verso un accordo non scritto, ma che si realizzerà. Però su questo devo riflettere, e visto che volevo solo approfittare del fatto che mi ero sentito con Rosby, a cui voglio molto bene, e come altri amici iraniani, per sentire un po' il suo punto di vista, adesso vi saluto qua. Magari stanotte tarda, stanotte tarda facciamo una riflessione più attenta. Ok, grazie a tutti e a presto. Ciao ciao.